Hey y'all, welcome back. Have you ever heard that term, cash is king? I'm not so sure. I think maybe she's a little bit more of a princess, and I'll tell you why today. But for those of you who have $500,000, $500,000 in cash lying around, you are actually losing money, and I'm gonna tell you why today. All right, I'm gonna get to my first point really quickly, but I want you to stay tuned because there is actually a point where I do think cash is probably king. And I'll share with you a little bit about that at the end, but there's a little twist to it. So my first point I'm gonna make is that cash decays. Just sitting there in your bank account or in your house, it actually is going to lose money because of inflation. So unless that $500,000, $50,000, $5,000, whatever you have in cash, if it's not working for you in some type of high yield savings account, other investments, real estate, you're actually losing money. One of the analogies I actually kind of like for this is that cash is like ice. It's really useful in the short term, but if you don't use it, it actually loses its value. The same is also very true of the equity in your house. It's like having cash sitting in a bank account. That equity, cash in your house, is actually not doing anything for you. Whether you owned the same priced home, a $500,000 home that you had completely paid off, or you had a $500,000 home that had an 80% loan on it, meaning you only had $100,000 in that other house, they're both going to appreciate at 4%. Having more money in your house paid off doesn't mean you get more appreciation. I think the data is something like, I think it's 36% of homes in America are completely paid off. And about 70% of homes in America have more than 50% equity. And that's why I think this video is so important right now, because there is untapped money out there that is not working for you. Having a bunch of equity in your house is like having a bunch of gold bars under beds throughout the house and it's not doing anything for you. I know that for some people, security and peace of mind comes from like, if the worst thing were to happen in the world, then you would own your home outright. Yeah, if there was another catastrophe, then if you didn't have any liquid cash reserves, you'd be in trouble. But there's a balance too. I think being so afraid of something bad happening that you're not having your money working for you is actually going to just keep you in the exact same spot. So why not take a look at that cash sitting in your house and see if you can use some of it to help you gain more wealth. So I think like 55% of mortgages in America are below 4%. That is a once in a generation type of interest rate. We're probably not going to see the 3s and maybe not the 4s never for a long time. I don't know. I mean, it's an incredible gift that was given to us. A lot of people refinanced. A lot of people, over 55% of people have a sub 4 mortgage rate or sub 5 mortgage rate. So if you have an interest rate that is so incredible and so low, and then you pay it off, you've kind of like washed that gift away. So for those homeowners out there that have owned their homes for a long time and they were really smart and they refinanced down into those 2, 3, 4% interest rates, and you've got over 50% equity in your home, you're not taking advantage. The term cash is king was actually born in a crisis. When a lot of people went under in the housing bubble crisis in 2008, it was the people who had no mortgages, who were able to be secure, who were able to survive that type of downturn. We don't have that type of risk necessarily right now in the housing market. At the time, there was very little equity in homes in America. Right now, there's $40 trillion worth of equity in homes in America. People have significant amount of equity cash in their homes because prices have gone up so quickly in the last 10 years. If you're going to go to the foreclosure place because you can't afford your mortgage payment anymore, but you have owned your home for over 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you probably have a lot of equity in there. So when you sell, you aren't in trouble. You're probably going to still make money. Even though you can't make your mortgage payments, you've got cash in the home. So they don't necessarily need to go to the short sale or foreclosure route. And that would be an indicator, if we had a lot more foreclosures, which we actually have an all-time low of right now, that would be an indicator that prices could be coming down or we have a weak real estate market. The other indicator that prices could be coming down or the market's in trouble is significant amount of inventory, which we don't have. In fact, during COVID, a lot of the builders completely stopped their new construction. We had a housing shortage already. We have more people than we do have new homes. So there will always be that pressure because there's more demand than there is supply. All of this to say, there's a lot of stability in the housing market. Okay, I want to give you like a real life example and keep the numbers pretty simple right now. Let's say you did have $500,000 cash and you wanted to just buy a house outright. You wanted to get that $500,000 house and just pay it off in cash. You would have one asset that, on average appreciates 4% every year. But what you could do is take that $500,000 and put 20% down on 5 homes, meaning now that $500,000 has turned into 5 assets that are appreciating at 4% every year. That's 500% more growth. Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to be a little less risk tolerant like I am. Why don't you just take $250,000 and buy 2 houses? Right? I mean, you don't have to necessarily go, you have to understand what your tolerance for risk is, what your liquid cash is, the assets that you have. You have to understand your full financial picture in order to make the best decision for you. I mean, being aggressive to, get wealthy is not the game for everybody. It's sort of my goal and what I push here a lot on this channel, but peace of mind is also important to you. So if you are less risk tolerant, more risk adverse, and you don't want to spread yourself like that and take on so much debt, that's fine. But maybe there's a happy medium. And the way that our system is set up is that the tax write-offs favor people who leverage debt. They don't favor people who pay for things in cash. You get more tax write-offs by owning properties, front-loading the depreciation, doing cost segregation, which I've gone over in another video. All of those things can help compound your wealth over time, and you don't get those benefits when you don't take on debt. Okay, I promised you I would talk a little bit about where I do think cash is king. And as a real estate agent, I have seen this many times. When you have a house on the market and you're potentially looking at 2 offers, one of them has financing, meaning they're taking on debt, or the other is just a cash offer. Cash offers usually are more appealing to a seller, and this is where cash can be king. If you had multiple offers and one of them was cash, not only would you necessarily be more likely to accept the cash offer, but even if the cash offer was lower than the leveraged offers that had loans attached to them, you might still want to take the cash offer because there are risks when you take a conventional or an FHA offer because the appraisal could come in low. There are lender requirements and the buyer could not get qualified halfway through the process, and then you're back on the market and you don't have that competition that you had in the beginning. Cash deals, when you can do it effectively and negotiate it well, cash buyers, they can usually get a little bit more off the house than a financed buyer. They can usually get a better deal. It's more clean for the seller and more attractive. But here's the caveat that I want to make. So if you had the cash and you were in a multiple offer situation, I might encourage you, go ahead, take as much cash as you need to win that deal. Maybe save yourself $10,000, $15,000, whatever you can negotiate. But once you win that cash deal, you're going to want to think about refinancing and putting a loan on the property. So you beat out multiple offers by throwing cash at them and you've got a good deal on the house. You're going to want to quickly do what's called a cash out refinance. So that $500,000 that's sitting in the house is not doing anything for you. So a cash out refi is if you bought a house with cash and you owned it for 90 days, whatever it is, you could go to a lender and say, hey, put a loan on this property, I'll leave 20% of my cash in there, and then you give me 80%. I'll put that 80% loan on the property, I'll have mortgage payments, but that 80% in cash comes back to me so it can continue to work for me. And you don't have to do 80-20. That is my advice, is to never really put more than 20 to 25% down on a house. But like I said, depending on your risk tolerance, you could at least take out 50% of that. If you want to build real estate wealth while doing nothing, then this channel is for you. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. What I talk about in this channel is using real estate and cash as a tool, not a trophy. I want always for you to be able to take advantage of the things that millionaires are taking advantage about, billionaires are taking advantage of out there. Those are available to us as well. And if they exist and it's legal, why not use it? Why not take advantage of what's out there for you so that you too can become wealthy? All right, I know not everybody's going to agree with me on this one, so I'm kind of curious to see what the comments look like. But like and subscribe. Let's continue this conversation. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you on the next one.